What's up, Macarin? How you doing? Good to see you again. I'm still wrestling with these inventories. Um, they're functional, which is nice. I'm just thinking about like the easiest way to store them. Hello, hello. How's your day today? Anything new and special? Just working? Anything interesting? The audio? Hey, welcome back. I was just saying I'm working on some of these audio, or some not audio. You have audio on the brain now. I'm working on some of the inventory stuff. I realize I'm gonna need a much bigger inventory. Hey, what's up, Antoine? Dodo Dodo. I realize this inventory is gonna get pretty large pretty quick. Ugh, let's add some spacing though. Let's give it another. Oh yeah, this stream muted. I was just saying hello. I asked you how your day was, and if you did anything special today, or what did you do, and how was your day? I realize now on this stream as well, I was having problems with the audio. Um, the microphone going up and down, and it turns out it was taking the audio from my webcam by default. So now I can have like the air conditioning on, and I can talk without it going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that's been really. Got back from work. Cool, cool. You're in Australia, correct? I believe you're one of my Australian folks. What is it, tomorrow? It's the 18th there? Got off work. Cool, cool. Yep, yep, more yep. Word I remembered. There's an old meme that was really funny about how it was a tweet and somebody was like, "OMG, I just learned that um, that China is, you know, 20 hours ahead of the U.S. Why didn't they warn us about 9/11? So funny. Yeah, time zones are odd. My sister lives in Ireland, so I'm used to dealing with it anyways. From where I am, that's I think a full 8 ahead. And even for my day job is 2 hours ahead of me, so I'm always on other times anyways. Okay, so this has the space. I want to add probably like two. Felt padding is 4. Okay, so let's do the Y offset has to increase. Y off plus or equals to Y off times padding. I think, maybe? Oh, that's way wrong. Oh, offset is Y. Or I divided by width times padding. Maybe? Yep, that's what I wanted. So now I've got some vertical padding between my rows and columns here also, which is much nicer. Let's, rather than collecting stuff every time, because we know that works, let's 4, 3, 5, 3, 6, 7. That way there's some gaps at the end as well. I put at 30. What's up, Dodo Gang? Hello, hello. You boosted the audio. Is it too quiet? Let me, if you know, I'm just goofing around as I stream, but if you guys have any feedback or want to see anything or ask. It is nighttime and the whole family's asleep, so I am talking more quietly than I normally would. Okay, so I also need to fix the quantity numbers on each of these things. Be quiet, you boosted your audio to the limit. I think I can increase. No, the background music might be pretty low too. Is well, is the music quiet or is my voice quiet or both? I can increase the volume of the desktop. I have that down pretty low with the music, but you know where my microphone is. Apple, good, radish. My random range. Both. Fair. I don't know how I can. Oh, it looks like I can increase my microphone. How many decibels should I increase my microphone volume by? Because that is easy to do. I also don't want to blow out your ears. This is 2. Uh, this is an increase to my microphone by 2 decibels. I don't, I have no audio knowledge, so just let me know how it goes. Get the voice first, we'll do the music second. Ooh, the horizontal separation is gross. Font. Should it even be... Can I do that so they bleed into each other? And that probably looks better. I'll do that. Alright, so... Yeah, this works. Let's look at this inventory, find out where this stuff is being drawn. Y plus offset plus 18. So let's do X offset plus... Y off. It did not work at all. But I think it's the... It's because the... X is to be... It's first. It's just wrong. It's very weird. Oh, it's like stagger stepping all of these. Look when it gets to this one. I think all the numbers are being drawn, they're just... Up. Oh, okay, that makes it very clear. It's strange that apples. Oh, it's because the apples have an offset. Yes. Okay, the apples still have an X offset, so that's okay. Let's do X offset. Another all here. So let's change this to FA bottom right. Just fine, and then we'll just Hey Kalazar, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I am just tinkering around and working on this inventory here. How's your day going so far? Or how was your day, if this is the end of it, I guess. Depending on where in the world you are. Okay, so now I've got a description, and I've got quantity, and I can pick it up and take it out. But the quantities also don't save when I throw it out. Okay. Works. I'm pleased with this. This is good for me. So 6:45 a.m. and I've woken up with a violent cough. Oh no. 6:45 puts you 8 hours ahead, so you're probably somewhere in the UK. Oh, you have a cough. That's fun. Got a good night's sleep, I assume, prior to it, if you woke up with the cough, because it's always a drag to have a cough that prevents you from sleeping. You just hacking your head off while you're in bed. British. Cool, cool. Welcome in, welcome in. I had a notes of to-do list here, so let's take a look at what those are. We might need to do some housekeeping because I'm at the point in this project where it's like things are functional, but they feel kind of messy. The inventory index will change an error out if an inventory is deleted. Can we fix this? Yes, I believe it was. Furniture and decor items are clunky in play mode. Can we make them into a capsule? That is not done. Items placed in design mode should be able to be customized with the context-sensitive menu. Not done. Organize your damn assets. Not done. Fix inventory aesthetics. Broken arrows. It's better. Okay, so let's fix it here. Hi Lazar, are you a game developer? Are you just looking for live streams? Tell me about yourself a little bit. Turn-based tactics game. Very cool. Early in the stages, they'll make progress slowly but surely. That's great. I subscribe to the any progress is good progress mentality. As long as you're doing something. Or even if you're not, whatever, take a break. Cool. Are you a what's your engine of choice? You've been subbed to me for ages. Oh, cool. Yeah, my GM tutorial. So you're probably a Gamemaker user. Very cool. Um, I'm actually planning on starting some tutorials back up. I do want to change up the format. I mentioned before in the videos, like, I don't want to call it an identity crisis. I just need to be able to find a nice method of producing content that's compelling and fun. Um, but is contributing to the community in a way that I want to see the tutorials go. Um, I just want to have a lot of fun with it. I want to be excited about game developing. I want uh, to help people make their own games. Um, there's a lot of work to be done, I think, in this space, especially in the game maker community. But I don't know. I've seen too many tutorials where people are going through like talking about how to, how to make this type of genre game, and it's informative, but they don't ever sound like they're having fun. Do you know what I mean by that? Am I crazy? It's just I get it's not like a very sexy thing to do to make games, but it can be a lot of fun. But I have a hard time finding people online making tutorials and doing game dev videos that actually seem like they're having fun. They all seem like they're just, they're being tortured and forced to make a game, and oh, I'm so passionate about it, and it's tearing me up mentally, but I will get it done, and the world will see my game, and that's great, but I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's gonna love your game more than you, right? It's an expression of art. It's not even like about a lack of content necessarily. I think there's a lack of um I'll use the word personality, but I gotta kind of elaborate what I mean is I guess just kind of what I was saying before, like I want to learn game development from somebody who seems like they enjoy making games because they want to and not because they feel compelled like they have to. Like I don't want to sit through 76 part YouTube tutorial about, the ins and outs of making this one specific type of game where the person's just gonna, talk in that monotone voice. I just can't. And I'm not talking about any one person in particular. There's value in every single tutorial. I think there's a space open for just a real personality to be in that space, to attract lots of new talent, to make it seem fun, and to capture the eyes of people who are even curious about how a game is made. I mean, the thing is called Gamemaker, for God's sakes. Like, there's a lot that go to it. No, I agree. So there's a time and a place for each. And I'm not saying I wanted the tutorials that exist to be more personality than information, but I'm also not seeing any personality videos, if that makes sense. If I want to show my kids, like, if I want to get them excited about making games, if I tell them I think you guys would love making games, let me show you a video that proves that. I couldn't show them a video today, right? There's no like hype video about it. That's much less like a montage of all the games made in GameMaker. I want it to be like, I don't know even how to describe it really. There's I got a nice example is like, I want to learn science from Bill Nye the Science Guy. Like, I want to learn game development from blank. And that blank is that person, that I'm looking for that I haven't found yet or doesn't exist. I don't know. I don't know if I have enough natural personality to be that person either, but I do have an idea of like, I'll know it when I see it kind of deal. Um, anyway, sorry, I digress. I do get passionate about that kind of piece to it too. There's a good handful of Unity tutorial people that have been entertaining videos, but it's not much in GameMaker. That's how the scene was. And the tutorials were kind of boring, but I boosted through and made my own hype. Otherwise, people, well, it needs to be fun and it needs to be engaging. Brackeys. Unity has brackeys. If you're familiar, if not, unfortunately they're not. They're no longer making videos anymore. Um, yeah, Unity does have a way larger community, but if I'm looking at videos and I found a Brackeys videos about um, anything really, like, what a fantastic channel, because the way it was narrated and presented seemed fun. They looked like they were having fun. So if I were to compare any leading game maker YouTube video versus any Brackeys video, and I didn't know either engine, I know what party I would want to be at. And being in both communities, I would say you're in the wrong party, but I don't really have any evidence as to why. I would love to show them something better than what exists today. And what I mean by better is just something new. It doesn't exist, and I would like to make it exist. I think, when you're going into really technical topics, people want their hand held and walk through, and again, they don't need the personality, and they're going to watch the video on 2 times speed anyways, and get the information out and copy and paste in the code, and that's all they needed from it, and that's great. But there's also a lot of lacking videos out there. Is anybody familiar with Mortmort or Morton? He makes, I think he uses Unreal, but for the longest time he was just a pixel artist and just kind of makes these prototype and mock-up games. I believe he works for Mojang now. But he's a really good example of a personality who also makes games. Goodgis is another one of personality that I really love. Works primarily in Godot, but does really, really good quality videos and makes making games seem really fun. I think just Game Maker needs a head like that. That would make a world of difference. Making tutorials is so easy. People get wound up over talking correctly and having a script and sounding good. Just make it. Your first hundreds of my tutorials suck. If you go back and you even to my channel right now and you go through like my first tutorials, my mid tutorials and my last few tutorials, they're all over the place. The quality varies wildly. Um, Once I find consistency in what I want it to be, I'm sure I can see better growth than what I'm not seeing now. Um, I'm just so interested in exploring a lot more of that. I need the time. I don't have the time. I would love to see more tutorials though. Just make something, put it out there. Even if it's a YouTube short, like that's severely underrated for the game dev space. Like, hey, let me show you how to like even this. I put out a tweet today that would make an actually really nice YouTube short um, about notes. So like this is what I mean by leveraging a community to produce content like in the space. I think this is super cool. I just said are you using notes in Gamemaker, and I just had this open. It was my to-do list. I just said are you using the notes assets in Gamemaker? Um, yes, this is helpful for me. Um, I want to go over this conversation because it inspired me a bit. Um, Said Backyard, who's making this really cool game called Tulip, wrote, I write note with a comment in the relevant section of code, and then I control shift F, which searches the whole project for any script that you type in order to find to-dos that I've left this way. How smart is that? So it's like a live note. He writes note in the comment so he can find it later by doing his search. I used to use notes, but now I basically create text on my desktop and has an additional workaround of doing it. Um, but here was an idea I had out of that conversation was open that back up because I'm not gonna want that in that side of the window. Was imagine you have some objects that you still need to work on that aren't finalized. Like I know my inventory needs love, right? So why don't I edit a tag and I'll call this work in progress. And then I'll close that out. And then what I can do is, I think, is this a search? Yeah, look, I could do searches by work in progress just by clicking on the tags, and then all of the assets that I have that are work in progress will appear here, which is not exactly like what I was asking, but it's another way of adding organization. It's just saying like, hey, there was still another to do, or something that you know is broken, just tag it. Like utilizing the things that are offered to you in the assets, and then search by the tags. I have like my consumables and vulnerables, and these are all gameplay elements. But what about like actual like organizational stuff? What did the guy do? Um, the guy put in his code, like he would write note, and then he would say anything that he wanted. And then later on, after that was closed, he could search his project for the word note, and then he would find all of the instances down here, and you could click on them and find them and go back to those notes. So he used the word after the comment, he used like a placeholder, like he would say attention, and then he could search for the word attention, and he would be able to find that. Does that make sense? So it was like he added little bookmarks throughout. And then speaking of bookmarks, that's another thing nobody ever uses that I think are pretty cool, and I don't remember how to do it. Is it Control 1? F1? No. Um, Well, hold on. It does something better. Hold on. Gamemaker bookmarks. This is another thing that people don't ever use, and it's super cool. Um, um, um. These bookmarks. Shift plus Command plus any number key, and then to go back to it, it's just Control the number key. So you have to use the numpad. So, um, like, let's say I want to always remember this spot, so I'm going to do Shift Control 1. Bookmarks no longer a thing. Get that number at the side. No, that's a breakpoint. Um, code snippets. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though, right? Oh my goodness, this is so embarrassing. This is exactly what I wanted. Um, regions. Breakpoint. No. Yeah, yeah. No, it says Shift plus Command plus any number key. Oh, maybe it's not on the numpad. Maybe I have to use the actual. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. So not the numpad specifically. So I push Shift Control and then I pushed 1. And see, it put this little bookmark here, so I can use any of it. So if I wanted to put the second one down here, I'm going to push Shift Control 6. And see, it added the little 6 bookmark and the 1 bookmark. So I can always go back to this point if I want to, even if it's not open anymore, I think. So if I push Control 1, see, it brings me right back to that point. Let me close down the asset altogether and open up something else. I think if I do Control 1, see, it brings me back to that point. So you could actually drop like little breadcrumb trails through these bookmarks, then go back to those. And a lot of people don't use this or know about it even. There's a lot of like hidden stuff in here. And then I think to delete it, yeah, you do the same thing. Shift Control and then the number that coincides with it. Um, so there's lots of ways to kind of go back to your codes. That's what they're used for. Yeah, they're little bookmarks, so you can go back to them. But you see, everyone's even just between us, the reactions that you get is prominent, right? So, and it doesn't take that long. How long would it take me in a YouTube video to talk about that? Like under a minute, right? Hey everyone, if you want to leave a bookmark to come back to later in code, highlight the code that you want, hold down Shift Control and pick a number between 1 and 0 on the top of your keyboard, and to come back to it, hold down Control and push that key to go back to that, even if the asset isn't open. Happy game making. Like, that's your whole script. That's a YouTube short. Build an audience. And then just judge it up with some fun graphics and some personality, and there you go. They would appear randomly. Yeah, it's because you were probably doing Control Shift, typing too quick. And you must have, like, if you're doing like a plus, which happens often, right? And Control, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that's what they do. Enjoy, use them. They're powerful and cool. Another one that's kind of cool that I use a lot too is in your actual images. Um, I know I do this. Desktop projects. Be easy to make, but people wouldn't search for it because they don't know about the type of thing. Yeah. Oh, that's what I mean. Just like here are things. that GameMaker does that you probably don't know. Like how do you search for what you're not looking for? You know, cool features, cool code snippets, maybe, but um, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of good pickings out there. Pixel art, um, items maybe. All right, yeah. All right. So do you all know about the strip kind of thing? So I have here a sprite with the 4 frames of animation just next to each other in a strip. But if you name them this way, with an underscore and then strip 4 with no space, you put how many frames are in the number after the word strip, so it knows that this should be divided up into 4 equal segments. So, and then here's subtip number 2. You can just drag it right into the asset layer, and then it creates a sprite automatically. But here's where the magic happens. It's not just one straight sprite strip. It broke it out into this animated image for me because I told it had 4 frames of animation. So if you organize your assets in that way, um, again, here's another one. You can just, here's my crops now. Boom. Now I have the 3 crops separate out into 3 different frames. So I didn't have to use like a GIF. It's just a straight sprite strip because of how I named it, and it just drug it right into the asset browser. You split them up in the Gamemaker editor. Yeah, it's good for doing that too. I've used Gamemaker to split GIFs into separate images like the opposite way before. I get annoyed because it's uh, a sprite. If I'm using like a let me find one like this. If I have multiple images and I want to save it, it saves it. I can save it as strip, but it doesn't do. It does _1, _2. So I'm like, oh, a Gamemaker can't quite use it that way. It's like a little bit different. Not the biggest deal in the world. Um, Control T, quickly get the asset. Yeah, and things like Control T are becoming increasingly less important because with Feather now, like when you hover over, like see the stuff. You can see it's a sprite, the size, the bounding box. You can see a little image preview of it. Like if you just want to get a quick glance at what it is, you just hover over it. Feather has your back in a lot of ways. What else is more? I saw this article on GameMaker's website. Read the tech blogs too if you guys aren't reading the tech blogs. There's nice information in there. 9 slices, tile maps, sprite palettes in GameMaker. See, I didn't know you could do load a palette in the sprite editor, but I also don't use it very much. Oh, it's not really what I thought it was. That's cumbersome. Odd. Anyways. I like Feather. It requires a little bit of work to get it set up, but once it's working, I feel like it's made me a much better coder personally. But your mileage may vary. I trash, maybe. Inventory bag. I don't think I need that. I mean, it's probably a better practice, but I'm not paid. Nobody's gonna look in my code soon. Yeah, I think it's because, well, it's kind of like what I'm doing here. If I'm just kind of left to my own devices, um, I get messy real quick. I have a tendency of getting really excited and doing other stuff. Um, if Heather kind of keeps me on the right track, forces me to stop and take a step back and saying, am I being consistent and am I doing things the best way? I think it's mostly about consistency for me. I mean, clearly you can still make games without it, but keeps me honest with it. Backgrounds, boop boop boop. Yeah, it's all about traditions for a lot of things in any project you do. You have a room, yeah. That's how it is. At least you still, but the consistency, you're still starting with RM underscore. You didn't have to do it that way. You're used to doing it. Oh, I'm getting tired. Okay, so we'll do bubble elements. Grass patch. I Yeah, it's 11 where I am. I need to get to bed. I work super early in the morning, but I've been streaming for an hour or two every night because I've had some time after everyone's asleep, and my toddler, who's notoriously terrible at night sleeping, has been sleeping like 12, so I have some time before I gotta go get him. So many. Anyways, I have one called system, where I would put input audio. I would have one called environment. And I would have one called play and in-game effects of elements, items. I might be environment, I guess. The base is something else completely different. Trash in there. Where is the difference between? Oh, that's blank. I need that. This should go into nice. So now I can, this looks a little better. Organize your damn assets. Done. I'm gonna leave this date in here, but I'm gonna do 17. Continue inventory work. Need a buy sell. Let's just do this. Buy sell menus. Give select menus. Information and item reviews. Descriptions. Ignore design mode for now. So this is going to be my focus for tomorrow. And I guess that's about it. Thank you all for watching. As always, it's nice hanging out, nice talking. Thank you for keeping my favorite part of these streams going, which is just the talking, the chat back and forth. I really love the process. So if you liked what you see, come back tomorrow about the same time and we'll do some more. Thanks so much. Have a good day. Bye.